So we find out in this chapter that eating your breakfast with expired milk leads to explosive diarrhea, and really at the most inopportune time too.
Naruto, number 3, Sasuke.
Sauce who?
Sasuke.
You know, and I don't know how people cannot just love this tale. And I mean, I'm only a few chapters in, so whatever, maybe I'll think differently a few hundred in, but... Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, inspiring, and very, very funny tale of Naruto. Our last chapter, of course, really saw things ending off with Konohamaru and, hope I got that right, and Naruto, you know, pretty much vowing to be, you know, enemies or adversaries as they both work to become Hokage. So, and that's how things left out. It was a fairly self-contained chapter. This one, though, is kind of neat. It picks up the next day, and it's graduation day, and again, I did wind up making a mistake. They are actually graduated to Shinobi, but they're like low-level Shinobi, so they're kind of like underling Shinobi. They probably still do a lot of menial tasks and chores and things like that. They're not, you know, they're not the ones that get the rock star type treatment, at least from what I can tell thus far. But again, this is my path on the journey that I'm taking, and, you know, sometimes the path is a little bit fucked up. So things go and pick up, and it is the next morning. Naruto is having himself a big breakfast. He's getting ready. He goes down to the classroom where everybody's gonna meet to have their graduation, and goes to sit down. He's getting, you know, kind of jabbed at and ribbed by some kids. And they're like, yeah, this is actually for the people who graduated, you know. And he's like, can't you see the headband, idiots, you know? So we're introduced though to two main characters. I'm assuming they'll be main characters now. One of them, Sasuke. I know I've heard that name before, so I'm assuming that's kind of a mainstay in the actual tale of Naruto. And the other one is Sakura. And Sakura is a female. She's another student that Naruto has a crush on, and he's kind of like sees her coming in. He's like, oh man, she's a total babe, but that's the problem, you know, and this and that. And you know, so anyway, he thinks she's coming right towards him. She's actually just like, get out of my way, Naruto, because she sees who she's kind of, you know, gaga for him because she wants the D, and that is Sasuke. And Sasuke just kind of has that sort of like dark-haired, cool, brooding-looking, you know, emo type kid. That's what he seems like anyway. He's just kind of sitting there by himself, like, leave me the fuck alone. So anyway, so Naruto is trying to go, and this is where I was kind of laughing. The comedy, at least in this chapter, was very good, I thought, and very well done. Naruto goes to kind of like lean over the table to say something to, I don't know if I forget if he's getting like I think he's like getting in Sasuke's face, like, what's your deal? Why are you so, because Sasuke's kind of like, what are you doing here, you know? And anyway, he goes to lean over the table, and he's kind of like leaned up on the table, and one of the other students goes and is like, kind of like smacks him in the ass, and he goes and flies forward, and next thing you know, man, he's locking lips with Sasuke. And it was certainly unintentional. It was so funny because Sakura is so pissed off because she wanted to have her first kiss with him and everything else, you know, and Naruto... just funny, you know. Sakura winds up kind of whipping him around, kicking his ass a little bit. So anyway, so then Iruka comes in, and he's Iruka Sensei. You know, he comes in and he's gonna divide everybody up into these teams of 3, and they're gonna have this Jonin, I believe, that I hope that's how you pronounce it. That's gonna watch over them, and you know, again, kind of like I was saying, they're kind of on the road to becoming, you know, a higher level shinobi. So anyway, so then he goes and he's announcing the teams, right? And it's so funny because then he's just like he's like, you know, Sakura, I forget exactly what her name is, but her last name, and then she's like, you know, and Naruto, you know, Naruto, and you know, they're like, oh wow, you know, and Naruto is real excited, and of course Sakura's pissed off, and he goes and he's like, and joining them will be Sasuke, whatever. So the terrible threesome got put together, you know. Which I thought was funny, and they're going to be Team 7. And of course, Sakura's excited about that. Sasuke is just kind of like, whatever, man, just leave me alone. I just want to sit here and look brooding. So you wind up seeing a little bit later on, and actually it's funny too, because Naruto jumps up and he's just like, because they say that they basically weighted it based on averages and stuff like that. And Naruto's like, why would you put me with an idiot like that? Because he thinks Sasuke's a moron. And he's like, Sasuke's like tested the highest out of all the students in the class. You'd be the lowest, so that's why you guys are together to balance things out, you know, because, you know, you're kind of like a dunce and he's sort of like top of the class, you know, head honcho type shit. So you wind up seeing a little bit later on, Naruto goes and he sees his opportunity. There's this it's like building with like kind of, it almost looks like an ice cream stand type deal or something, or a hot dog stand where it's got the little open sort of like roll top, deal where you can, go up to the window and order. And Sasuke is, kind of standing there leaning up against it looking cool. And Naruto, is inside and he gets all quietly sneaks up on him, pulls him in there, and anyway, and then it looks like Sasuke winds up walking out a little bit later. And he goes up to and finds Sakura and starts asking all these different questions. Now, I immediately thought, okay, well, Naruto went and tied up Sasuke and pulled an okie-doke on it, which he did. And then, wound up using his, the clone technique or whatever that is, the doppelganger, not the doppelganger, but the technique that you can use where you can obviously transform into somebody else to look like Sasuke so he could go and talk to Sakura and kind of see, like, what, her feelings were of Naruto. And she basically just lets him have it, and she's just like, I hate him and blah, 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 and this and that, And he's like, what the hell, So it's funny because then, because she doesn't obviously know it's Naruto, she thinks it's Sasuke, so he's being all sweet on her and everything like that, and they're just about to lock lips, man. They're just, ooh, it's coming ever so close, just like in the movies, and then all of a sudden something happens, right? The dog barks, somebody comes in, they're like, oh, you two, get a room, that type of shit. Well, instead of that happening, all of a sudden he's just like, oh, and he starts running, right? This reminds me of my brother. I got two brothers, and one of them, he eats things, and before he's even done eating, man, he's got to run to take a shit. It just processes quickly for whatever reason or another. We used to goof around and call him, like, Colin when he was younger, And anyway, this what it reminds me of, because all of a sudden he's just like, oh, I got the runs. So he runs into the bathroom and sits down, and he's taking his shit. Well, this winds up happening, and he's talking, he's thinking in his head, you know what I should do is I should make Sakura hate Sasuke, and then she'll love me, type of thing, right? And it was so funny too, because then you go and you see at some point Sakura sitting there, and this is where I like the comedy. She's talking about like, oh geez, and I really like Sasuke, and I just wish he'd notice me, I need to, need the T and the A, but the only oh yeah, I don't have any T and A. The only thing I got bigger and large is my forehead, and she's like, I'm still self-conscious. But anyway, we presume that because we see Sasuke and he's just like, I just stupid rope trick ninja can get out of that anyway, and we presume Sasuke goes and gets out of there. And then actually I reread the chapter. I reread the chapter to see, because I wasn't quite sure if Naruto took his shit, wiped, and then came out, and because see Naruto's sitting in the bathroom, and all of a sudden he's just like, what if I can make Sakura hate Sasuke, right? And the next thing you know, you see Sasuke, and he's just kind of like not giving her the time of day, and she's like, oh, how are we? And he's just like, how are you doing, type of thing. You're back. And he's just like, where's Naruto? And she's just like, well, can we stop talking about him and this and that? And she starts putting down and bad-mouthing him, right? And like I said, at first I was thinking that actually Naruto had come back out and his plan was just to act like a dick to her, But it actually is Sasuke, as far as I can tell. And, she's just kind of like, because he didn't have any parents and this and that, blah, blah. And Sasuke almost kind of sticks up for him. He's like, you think that that's better because he had an upbringing without parents and everything else? What the hell is, And basically explaining like, yeah, not having anybody looking after you, yeah, that's one thing, but, he's obviously grows up, a lot of orphans or kids that don't have parents, they grow up to be selfish and this and that. He's explaining all the downfalls of it, and she's kind of like, oh, you don't have anybody to answer to, you can do whatever you want, and he's kind of like, it's not all it's fucking cracked up to be, girlfriend, And anyway, so, but again, she wants to suck on the Sasuke, the sausage of the Sasuke, right? And actually, I shouldn't say it. These kids are probably 12, 13, 14 years old. Who knows, even knows if they know what's going on with that. But kids today, who knows? Maybe she did want to procreate. That's how she's acting anyway. But the bottom line is that Sasuke's just like, you know what, you make me sick, right? He walks away from her, and she's all upset. And he goes and he runs into Naruto, who's like, he's in the bathroom. They show this picture of the bathroom, and it says only 15 centimeters of toilet paper, per wipe, basically, right? Management, thank you. And I'm thinking, I'm like, 15 centimeters, it's about 6 inches, and it's like, I don't want you clogging up the toilet, But he's sitting in there gripping for dear life. And anyway, and he goes and he's, oh man, it's finally over. He gets out of there, he runs into Sasuke, and Sasuke is like, oh yeah, you. And he's like, oh, Sasuke, how'd you get free? And he's like, yeah, I'm a ninja, dude. It's you think like tying me up's gonna work, And then the chapter winds up ending shortly after that. We actually we wind up seeing Iruka, Iruka. And we wind up seeing him with some other unknown fellow, and he's got his headband pulled down, it looks like, over one eye, so I don't know if that's like a patch and he's only got one eye, or that's like a fashion statement for him, but this is going to be the Jonin, the person that's actually supposed to watch over Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, and during their upbringing and their training as they rise through the ranks and stuff, and they're at Naruto's house, and he's just like, okay, expired milk and this and that, and basically just showing that this is going to be an uphill battle, you know. So that winds up being how the chapter ends, is where the guy, you know, this unknown, which I'm sure they'll introduce us to next chapter, but you know, how he's basically just like, okay, it's going to be a tough task, but you know, I'll try my best. I'll try to rise to the occasion, you know, that type of thing. So all in all, again, I thought it was funny. I thought it was real, just comical again, you know, with the him accidentally kissing Sasuke part and just all the different stuff. I'm like, hey, why are you putting me together with that schmuck? And it turns out, and he's kind of the schmuck. But it just very, very funny. And I guess my chapter question is going to be, what do you think about the comedic, the funny moments in Naruto? I mean, what do you think about that? Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you haven't, shame on you. And we look forward to catching you in the next Fun Nation.
If you'd like to see more of my lovely artworks like this, just go on over to my Instagram or Facebook page.